gonna take him somewhere he hopes is better, where the doors aren't all closed and the shops aren't all shut down. And it's leaving time. It ain't grieving time. And it's time to move on from the old steel city. He walks past abandoned houses and all broke down cars, through the tall, tall grass near the old courtyard. And it's leaving time. It ain't grieving time. And it's time to move on from the old steel city. And it's leaving time. It ain't grieving time. And it's time to move on from the old steel city. And it's grieving time. It's past leaving time. And he's already gone from the old steel city. Old steel city. Old steel city. Old steel city. Today is the day. It's so surreal. I refuse to watch or tune into anything having to do with you, you petty, spiteful man. Like a fragile snowflake, you crumble every time a wind of comedy blows past, and your response is to shout, "Hey! Lock out the press." With plans to privatize our public broadcasting, so it's just another failed democratic effort, at least for now, while we hold this temporary position. Try to cut the budget by cutting arts endowments, even though they're less than 1% of the budget, and defense spending is over half. I've seen the waste in my Navy years. From the national monuments, I'm sure you dream of decorating with gold embellishments of a thinner, younger you, and the national parks and public lands that your party is now trying to sell. Nominees that cannot answer very basic questions about the positions you promised them. And they're lying on the stand about all their conflicts of interest. But it's only 2 years until we vote again and get another chance to take your power away, to obstruct, to be concrete, to stop you. Because you are the opposite of everything important and all the things that make America great. No more building on the backs of brown, yellow, and black. No more pointing tiny fingers at other religions or cultures to distract the citizens from the fact that you're the problem. You're the problem. Yes, it's you. 'Cause you're the problem. You're the problem. Yes, it's you. That the fundraising team needs in order to work their campaigns and get the contributions that different departments need.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Have you ever, as somebody that's good with numbers, and because I've been obsessed with this for the past few weeks,
Okay.
have you ever looked into the Mayan calendar?
I have not. I've heard some things about it.
What have you heard?
I can't even think of anything specific, but it seemed like an interesting thing, and it's probably one of those internet blurbs that I read, and I was like, oh, I should check that out later, and
well,
then I
only
never
checked
went
it
back
out
to
because
it.
of music.
Okay.
Because, all right, how many divisions in our octave?
I don't know. I don't really do theory.
There's 12 pitches.
Okay.
Like that's why it goes up, like, when you get to the 12th fret, it's the octave.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, but you also have to consider the space between the open string and the first fret.
Mm-hmm.
That's 13.
Okay.
Right? So 13 is completing that whatever the octave and turning into the new octave.
Mm-hmm.
Right where 13 is. Anyhow, it's not a coincidence that the Mayan calendar went up to 2012. It's just a cycle. That's all it is, but it's math.
Okay.
Because 13 divided by 2, right? Because if you realize that that's the circle, or a circle, not to mention that the months in a year, there's 12 of them, and the hours in a night and a day, right?
Okay.
So divide 13 by 2, and that's 6.5. Divide that by 2 again just to get a smaller integer, or number. I don't know what an integer is, to be honest. It's not retarded. Okay, so...
I'm hoping you don't say something that makes me look retarded that I can't answer. So.
Well, some people would scold us for using the word.
They would. I can't believe I just said that. I should not have said that.
Not at all. We're musicians, excuse me. We can say retard. Get it? To slow down?
Ah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. It took me a minute.
Anyhow, 13 divided by 2, 6.5 divided by 2 again, just to get a smaller number, 3.25.
Okay.
And then, since you can only use 2 and 3 to divide things, that before it becomes redundant, so to speak, use 3 now to divide 3.25, and you get a circle. 2.1, 6 infinity, and if you take 6.5, you get 4.3 infinity, a circle.
Okay. Wow.
Anyhow.
I had no idea.
But music, I was trying to figure out music, not the Mayans.
Okay.
And now I'm interested in the Mayans. I don't know nothing about them, but that's what I was asking.
Okay, interesting.
Thought maybe you would know.
I don't. But now I wish I did.
Right? How did they know all that? Craziness. And they were, they knew about the earth and so much. They knew about time.
Yeah.
You think it's possible? Well, I've derived to this possible conclusion from all this stuff that I've been thinking about and these numbers. You think it's possible that we are multi-dimensional beings? Hence consciousness. The fact that we exist in the third dimension, the physical world, and in the conscious dimension, like when you're asleep and you're still on. Explain that.
I can't.
Right?
So sure, yeah, it's possible. I mean, because there's so many unknown factors, right?
Yeah.
So
I was thinking maybe we live in the fourth dimension.
Sure.
Alongside the third dimension, in both.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why this sofa can't see me, but I can see it.
Okay.
Consciousness lies in the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole
Okay.
thing. I mean, I could just be talking out of my ass, right? I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You tell me, are you?
I am just telling you stuff that I was thinking about because I like smoking pot.
Okay.
So look at it from that
That's
aspect.
definitely
Don't take me
pot smoke and
seriously.
talk.
Yeah, that's pot talk. That's all it is. Don't take me seriously. I'm retarded.
No,
I'm
you're
just
not.
kidding. So you have a daughter?
I do, yeah.
How old is she?
She's 14.
Oof, rough.
Yeah, it's there. It's everything that everyone says it is.
Yeah.
But it's also pretty great. She's a great kid.
Because she's starting to understand you, I guess?
Well, no, she's always understood me. She's always been
Down to earth?
pretty down to earth and reasonable. And she's always been a little bit older than her years. So
You also said that you traveled a bunch.
yeah, I do.
So, I mean, like with her, have you traveled?
I've done some traveling, yeah. Well, she grew up, and she was born in Louisiana and grew up there until she was 7, at which point we moved back here to Seattle, my hometown.
Yeah.
And we've done a little bit of traveling. Like, she's been to California. We've done some road tripping. I took her to Vietnam and Cambodia a couple of years ago.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to affect you. You did.
Oh, it impacted her.
Yeah.
When I realized that she was 12 and hadn't left the U.S. yet, I realized that it needed to happen, so.
You were smart enough to know that? Most people don't think like that.
Well,
Like, they're turning into their teens, they have to
I
see
grew up
something
here,
else.
so I think that maybe this progressive, growing up in this
the fact all
progressive
the
area
events and all, yeah.
is different. And I noticed
Gives you
that a lot
perspective.
after spending time in Arizona and Louisiana.
Which one you like more or less?
Between Arizona and Louisiana,
Yeah.
I didn't really like either of them.
Oh, that sucks.
So, yeah. But, I mean, my scope of those is limited because I lived in a really rural area in Louisiana. And I went to New Orleans once or twice, but, you know, I didn't get a lot of time in there. And I'm sure I would have liked it more in Louisiana had I spent more time in some of the bigger cities. And in Arizona, I spent some time in Phoenix, which I did not like at all. But
super hot.
from what I've heard, Phoenix, a lot of people don't like Phoenix. They like Tucson or Flagstaff. So maybe I just picked the wrong city.
Yeah, like Nashville.
So there, it
versus-
could very well be a great place. I don't want to knock it. There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's the upspin. But I've been to Arizona and I've been to Tennessee. I don't know. There's something about. I didn't like Arizona too much either, but I also was only there a little bit. And,
Okay.
And at the time I was living in Boston, so the heat was like killing me. I would go outside to 120 degrees, and my head would start hurting in like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I probably wasn't even thinking straight. But Tennessee, there's something special about that air for a musician. Like there's something about it that you could really. It's like the trees are singing to you if you
Okay.
listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been there, but it was a pretty short visit, so I don't think.
So when you
that
go
it was-
outside and you're next, like it's not like in the middle of the city, but like just and you can sit on your porch and stare at those like 200-year-old trees, and there's fireflies going,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's definitely something you can hear.
It sounds like a pretty awesome place.
Yeah, that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that aspect.
Okay.
Whoa, you know what I just remembered? Strange Fruit, because I was talking about the trees and the South. Have you know Strange Fruit by is it Billie Holiday, if I'm not mistaken?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Strange fruit hanging.
I don't know that song.
She's talking about lynching.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Tense topic.
Didn't that happen like 2 weeks ago? Wasn't there?
That's exactly what just came into my head.
Oh Jesus! Is that true? Did that really?
You know, I don't know. I have a tough time reading some of that stuff, and so because it stays with me for a long time, so I don't. I just have to stay away from some of it.
Do you really think that it was a lynching north of Seattle to a 17-year-old?
I have no idea. I know people can be pretty
terrible. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty monstrous. So it's possible.
There was a lynching in Alabama a month before I left Nashville, which was, funny enough, I had already decided to leave at that point. Mm-hmm. But it still broke my heart.
Yeah.
To know that I was so close.
Absolutely. Well,
I couldn't stop thinking about it for a while. I used to leave work there and just pant. Like I just couldn't, like you were saying, like when you hear people, the way they talk and the way they act, the things just I just know. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when I was living in Louisiana, long time ago, I heard people talking about how their neighborhood was, I forget the term for it, but basically it means that black people aren't safe walking around after dark. Yeah. And they sounded like they were proud of it. And it really made me question my safety.
They are proud of it. Yeah, exactly. Who are you?
So even though I pass as white, I'm still half Mexican, and I don't know. It's just, and then I don't want to even be around that. You know?
Yeah. You don't want to be around those people.
So
how are you supposed to befriend somebody that says things like that?
I can't.
And things like that. Exactly.
I can't. I've tried and I can't.
I had 2 white friends while I was there. That's exaggerating, but I mostly only had black friends while I was in Nashville. Pretty much. The other ones I really what I got close to, that I had close friends with, only black people.
Yeah.
But that was there. But then also it was the whole Trump thing happening, so everyone was particularly edgy about Mexicans.
Right.
And that's my culture. Mm-hmm. You walk in here, I'm eating tacos, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just whatever. So last year was tough because I was all bubbling, and I knew that Donald Trump would be our president. I was telling my parents that a year ago. It's oh, he's gonna win. I see it traveling west.
Right. Well, the interesting thing is
I'm not saying that he shouldn't have won or nothing. I'm not talking.
I don't think he should have won, but
I have no opinions on that because
okay.
I think that they put whoever they want in there, and I think that it's not a coincidence that that Donald Trump is our president, somebody that puts on a show. That's all distraction. That's what I think it is. Now, there's a reason why they were taking oil out of the Middle East, and then right after they stopped, within the year. Yeah, dude, you want a guitar stand? Yeah, sure.
I actually have a song that I just wrote. It's pretty new.
Oh yeah.
About Donald Trump and this and about all this stuff.
I'll hear it for sure. But yeah, tune that up. So we leave the Middle East. And then they start pumping it out of Texas. Me being from Texas, I saw all the oil rigs, personally. Lots of them. Yeah. I would drive from Laredo, Texas to San Antonio.
Okay.
Or Austin.
Wait, where's Laredo? Is that north?
It's right on the border of Mexico.
Oh, okay.
On the south, it tips.
My driving through Texas was always on I-10, so.
Yeah. It's I-35 and then just the very bottom right before it. It's literally the border. In 15 minutes you're in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up just going back and forth.
Wow.
But anyhow, so they leave the Middle East, set up shop in Texas, and then right when they closed everything down, which was last year, they all within the year just all started closing down, and now they're trying to get it from Canada. It's time-wise in the timeline. No, it's all planned. It's where we're gonna get it from next, but not only that, just what I'm drawing is, and this is just an assumption, but what I'm drawing is that if they're taking it from one place after another and they're hoarding it, why would you need to hoard oil if we already are trying to get off of it and we can? Why would you be hoarding it?
I'm envisioning a post-apocalyptic movie right now.
Well, point is...
No, not to make light of it, but...
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But I understand. You have to. That's the only way. to deal with things sometimes. That's why I love comedians. And that's why I, like right now I'm talking serious, but like outside, like when we're saying at the mics, I'll just say whatever, and I'm just joking around. But like, again, a distraction. Yeah. From, you know what I mean? People from this other stuff. And that's my personal opinion. That's why I don't care. I don't vote. I don't even want to play the game. Like, I see the game. I see you go to school 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, already getting you trained. You don't learn anything. Ain't nobody taught us nothing about why the year was divided into 12. Ain't nobody taught us why, this and that, about other cultures. Ain't nobody taught us, the 12 stations of life in Buddhism, the 12 tribes of Islam, the 12 followers of Christ, the 12 signs. Like, why is everything divided to 12? You know what I mean? Like, because 13's a circle, that's why. And the earth is round. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody teach you how to grow a tomato. Heaven forbid you learn how to cook for yourself. Most people don't know how to cook for themselves. Yeah. Americans, at least, I mean. And I'm an American, and I've traveled through the country, and I've seen that. I've seen that people don't even know how to cook for themselves. Hence why our restaurants do well. And restaurants are a good business. But, yeah, it just kind of seems like that to me. And then, and it's all about, you gotta be playing the game, you gotta be making that money, you gotta be a slave to it, and you can't focus on anything else or anything that might actually be real, which is why we're not gonna teach you anything that's actually real. It's all a game, and I don't feel like being part of it. If everybody just chose no, we're just not gonna be a part of this war. But they're so brainwashed, as people, and I'm there too. We're all brainwashed, and we don't see it. We don't see what they're doing to us, and so we just play the game. Oh, now we have to go to war. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I do. Kind of on that tangent, I feel like there's kind of this illusion of us having all these choices, and we have all these. We do. We have a lot of choices in one sense, but it's masking the fact that we have other important choices as well, bigger choices that aren't acknowledged or are just kind of...
You're right. They make you not think of those things.
Right, exactly.
But you're right. That is what's important, what you just said, that we do have the free will. Again, we do have consciousness. We can make the choice to manipulate the things around us. And this earth is spinning and everything's moving so fast all the time. The energy that you put out is literally, because everything's moving and everything's changing all the time, is literally going to happen. What you put out will happen. But people are just, I don't know, addicts. Right?
And there's a whole theory behind that too. They've been doing scientific research behind addiction and all of that stuff. So I mean, like that's a whole big topic. And it's a whole big can of worms, because like one thing kind of leads to the other, and they're all kind of interrelated. So it's hard to talk about one thing without talking about everything else.
That's
if you're going to have a full conversation,
That's what's cool about a podcast. Like, you can say whatever.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't get offended easy.
Right. Clearly. That's a good thing.
So you can say whatever to me. And I think that this is what's cool about this. It's like, people actually get to hear who you are and what you think, and,
Right. That is cool.
And then they get to hear your music. You want to play a song? You look like you're itching to play a song.
Yeah, I do. I'm also not used to talking, where a bunch of people are going to hear it later, and it's going to be in stone forever.
Kind of trying to not say anything. That's why I was babbling.
All right. Babble away.
Babbles.
So, like you were saying about Trump, and you knew he was going to be
our president.
I had the same feeling. I didn't have... I hoped he wouldn't be. And I did vote. I voted for Hillary Clinton. I would have voted for Bernie Sanders. But unfortunately, the Democrats upended that. And all my friends here in Seattle who are very progressive said, Hillary's going to win. It's a landslide. Like, there's no way Trump's going to win. But, like Brexit happened. And people were saying the same thing.
Dude, we didn't even go on that.
And and everybody was so surprised. But ignorance is ugly, and it's like and hate, they're like diseases. And after living in the South for 8 years, I met so many people that I loved, and it hurt to tear those roots up and move away from them. But there were, not all of them, but quite a few of those folks I knew are the ones I think of when I say that I had a feeling that Trump would win, and he would win because of people like that, and it would be unexpected, and that a lot of people would probably stay home because they don't expect that Trump would win. How could he possibly win? That's what people think. But here we are. And so throughout that whole process of the election and inauguration, apparently I had this song baking in my head because it just all came spilling out one day. And that's actually my favorite kind of song because it's so easy to write,
Yeah.
I just came up with the melody and the lyrics just came flooding out. And
That was a pretty damn good take.
thanks.
You like what he got through?
A little bit. I've listened to a couple of his songs a long time ago.
You should give him a listen.
Yeah?
Oh, damn it. What's that? Dude, we just got a really good take.
Okay, I heard her playing. I just... Good. Come here.
Yeah, we didn't even go on about that. Well, I don't know. We should keep going.
Yeah. I could add verses, I think, and just add them to the song as the presidency continues. But I think it's long enough for now.
No, the song's great. I was talking about the Brexit thing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, two other really strange things that I noticed along with everything else that was happening. So again, I don't know what is or isn't. I'm just saying what has happened and then put them all together. It's your conclusion. But while all this is going on, at the same time Brexit leaves the UN. Now, if there's a world war and you are a part of the UN, you have to participate. Right? They already made their choice. They don't want to participate in that. Canada now letting Mexicans in without any visa, just freely.
Right.
Who did they pick sides with? You know what I mean? It just seems like that to me. Why is all that happening?
I don't know.
Well, we do know...
It's a lot to think about.
We look at history, we know that governments cause war every so often.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
That's just
we've
historic.
basically had an ongoing war in the U.S., in various ways and places. And
Yeah. They just... I don't know. But me personally, I'm tired of it.
oh, yeah.
I'm tired
I don't
of
think
it.
you're alone.
I don't want to be part of no war. I don't want to support no war. I just don't want no war. And so I boycott it. Again, hey, quit it, Sky. Quit it. Don't do that. Why are you acting like? No. Just eat this. Here, stop it. Yeah. Anyhow, it was blues. Blues is a good thing too.
Blues?
You like blues music?
I do. I love old blues.
Blind Willie McTell?
The name sounds familiar. I don't know a lot of names. Sometimes I'll just go on Spotify and I'll... Ma Rainey is a favorite. Mississippi Fred, Robert Johnson. Yeah, those are the three names I know. Oh, and Hound Dog. Who was it that sang Hound Dog? Old Big Mama Thornton? Is that it? I think that's her name. Yeah, I love her.
Oh yeah, what's her?
Yeah. So if I just turn on Spotify or Pandora and I base a station on that, I'll get a whole influx of things that are just
type in Blind
great.
Willie McTell.
Okay.
Because he plays this 12 string. And it's just his style is he's a songwriter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're fortunate to have 50 of his songs recorded. I don't know how many, but I think about 50. He's just, and he uses quarter tones. You know what a quarter tone is?
I don't.
So in between, so it's from here, right?
Okay, I got
That's
you.
quarter tone.
Okay.
See? So anyhow, blues uses quarter tones. That's one thing that I will say, which is pretty impressive. Because they found a way, like when people think, oh, they're playing the wrong notes. No, they're not. They just have their own scale.
Yeah.
And they're adding notes to our scale.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sophisticated stuff, and a pretty sophisticated ear that you have to do that. And I've heard him, like Blind Willie McTell is one song. It's called Traveling Blues, and he's talking about how you want your eggs, and he plays on the guitar. And you know, like exactly. He knows, you know what I mean? And he's using quarter tones because I can hear him. So anyhow, yeah, it's crazy. Like he's singing them and he's playing them, and just people just don't notice. It's like, oh, he's just playing off, like he's off key. That's how people are dismissive like that. But no, not at all.
That's one of the reasons I love. Like I couldn't have vocalized that before, but that's one of the things I love about old blues. So
yeah, and they play in 3 and 4 at the same time. Right? That's why they do like the shuffle. Bop, 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 bop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a circle, and it's so like 12 can be divided by 3 and by 4. Right before it repeats itself again. Or thus you start another cycle. But yeah, so they're playing 3 and 4 at the same time. I found some songs the other week where you can count them and or here, let's take what's that song? It's gonna be alright.
Rise up this morning.
2, 3, 4, 1. Everything is gonna be. No, I lost it.
Okay.
It's really hard to get. Like I just started coming to this, and I'm trying to play like them. So I've been listening to more and more blues. But they're playing in a way where they're like it's just so beautifully round. Like they're literally playing in 3 and in 4 at the same time, and it all comes together. Hence, also 12-bar blues.
Okay, right.
Right?
Yeah, the standard.
Yeah, standard. So, I don't know, it's just great. How did they do it and figure it out?
Who knows?
Slavery. I'm not even kidding, though. So we were watching a bunch of blues documentaries this past week, and like they were talking about how like they would make them from sunrise to sundown, like no break or nothing. Literally, you just have to be working in that southern heat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe it.
And the only thing that they were allowed to do was sing with each other. It was like 6 guys, and then they would all just sing, and one would call out something, the other one would respond. And that's literally where blues came from.
Yeah.
What's the oldest
blues? That's a pretty
song?
amazing history. I'm sorry?
What's the oldest blues? I know I'm too chatty. It's because I was at work, and I love talking to musicians.
Oh, okay.
Anyhow.
Well, see, that's where I don't know a lot about theory or I don't carry a lot of that vocabulary, so I can't communicate musically in that way. So it's a little intimidating when I come across people who can, and I don't have the capacity for that. But anyways, yeah. So the oldest blues song I know?
Can think of.
Oh, I don't know.
I've been working on the road.
Sure,
you hear that?
That one,
in between the minor third and the major third. Road. So in between, so you know how like the blues musicians, they'll play the major key and the minor key on the piano.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And they play them. You play the minor, so like it'll be like. So like that's blues. So that, but they would play that. They were finding that in between note because in their homeland, they had their own music system. They had their own division of the octave. They had their own scales. They were They were trying to play and hear those on on Western instruments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Hence, to play the minor and the major at the same time because they were trying to get the in between them.
Okay.
But
that's really interesting. I'm gonna have to read up on that some after this.
Yeah, blues is great, man. Oh, the oldest blues song, yeah. I've been working on the road. You know what I mean? That's how I picture that they would probably have sung it. Something like that.
Okay.
You know, I've been working on the railroad.
Oh yeah, definitely not like that. I feel like that's just not an accurate portrayal of that song.
Google that and like the oldest like written down manuscripts that you could find of it or something like that. Apparently there were some other lyrics, and this is totally Wikipedia.
Okay.
But I believe it.
Grain of salt. Okay, fair enough.
but I believe it.
Okay.
But point is, there's these lyrics, right? And there's a whole. It goes. I once did know a girl named Grace. She done brought me to this sad disgrace. I've been walking on the railroad just to pass the time away. Don't you hear that whistle blowing? Dying to blow your horn or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But
that's beautiful.
It's nice, right? Well, also there's no melody written down to it, so these are just the words. So I'm just taking like blues music and trying to fit them in. So I'm just kind of improvising that. But like. And then, Boston for its oyster shells, Charleston for its beans, something for its rice and corn, but for niggas, it's New Orleans.
Jesus.
Those are the lyrics, and so they didn't include them when they published, because all the money was in publishing, so the manuscripts people wanted to learn, they obviously didn't include that part of it.
Okay. I can see that. That is something. I had no idea.
Wow. Where do we go from there?
I don't know.
You like blues music, I like blues music.
I do, yeah. I can't help it.
The truth, you know?
When I first heard it, it was like, I remember we're all raised on most of us are raised on a steady diet of like top 40 pop music, right? And I remember one of the first introductions I had that there was something else out there was my dad. We had one of those big old stereos, with the turntable on top, and it had the equalizer and the glass door that was magnetic. Anyways, so all the albums were in the bottom, and I put on my dad's old Santana album, and Oye Como Va was just amazing. Like, I had no idea what I was listening to, but it was incredible and gave me chills down my spine. I think I was 7 or 8. And then shortly after that, somewhere, I heard some old blues, and I don't even remember who it was or what the song was, but I got that same feeling again. It was just I was fascinated, and it was magical.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and it just touched some part of me that there's nothing else other than old blues that reaches me the way old blues does.
Are you into Tupac?
So, I'm not.
I gotta show you a couple. On your way, I'll show you one song.
Okay.
While you're packing your things.
All right. That sounds good.
Because I don't know. It's just he is brilliant. I would say he's the best songwriter of the 90s.
I've heard things about him. I shouldn't be, I know, but I tend to be judgmental of hip hop.
Because there's so much flooding market.
There is.
It's terrible.
Yeah. And there are a few hip hop songs on my playlists, on my Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
But I tend to stay away from hip hop. I feel like there's just a lot of, I don't know. It has to be.
Baby boys doing good. Tell the homies I'm in heaven and they ain't got hoods. Seen a show with Marvin Gaye last night. It had me shook drinking peppermint schnapps with Jackie Wilson and Sam Cooke. Then some lady named Billie Holiday sang sitting there kicking it with Malcolm till the day came. Little Latasha show grown. Tell the lady at the liquor store that she's forgiven. So come home. Maybe in time you understand. Only God can judge us. Picture a place. How does it go? There has to be a place that exists better than this, whatever. Picture in heaven. Mm-hmm. Picture a place that exists and better than this in heaven. So, dear God, what I'm asking, I don't remember the rest. Messed it up. But point is, that stuff is what he does.
You gotta listen to old school hip hop.
Really?
It's my favorite. Yeah. 93 Till Infinity. What else? Tribe Called Quest is my favorite.
Tribe Called Quest. Yeah, they're a favorite.
Honestly, it's mostly they're really they're lyric geniuses. I feel like. But
there's so many non-lyric geniuses out there in the hip hop community, though, that I find it difficult.
Current hip-hop, though.
I don't like to take a lot of time to weed through things. So just because I'm busy and I have a lot going on from day to day, so if I happen to hear something and I can Shazam it, then it's going on my playlist. But I love Shazam. Plug. Anyways.
Shazam is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do a few more recordings now so we can
Okay. Cool. That sounds good.
This was a good podcast. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you
This is
for inviting me.
I love having women on the podcast. 'cause,
Okay.
Do you mind if I take a picture when you play? Like,
Not at
I
all.
only need one for.
Not at all.
Women are smarter, and so when you get two guys talking, conversation isn't as smart.
Well, since this has been kind of political, a discussion, I'm going to play this song called No One Wins, and it's about the conflict in Israel that's happening between the Israelis and the Palestinians. And specifically, there's this whole big land conflict, and I don't know what the answer to that is, but I know that the treatment of the Palestinians by the Israelis is wrong. Like the dehumanization, they're basically doing the same thing to the Palestinians that was done to them during the Holocaust, short of, some of the more heinous things, but, trying to rewrite history in the history books for the Israelis, just wiping out Palestinian villages and then erasing any history that they ever existed there. And there's some pretty awful things happening that a lot of people aren't aware of. So
That's true.